Alright guys, so this is another fanfiction idea. Funny enough, I did have like stories for multiple videos of Ladybug. For some reason it was on my brain, which is funny because I haven't really kept up with the show. Yeah, I haven't really kept up with the show, shocker. Because I just can't take how just bad the show has been as of late. Although I have heard good things about it on the other hand, so well, if you guys are watching Miraculous Ladybug on the continuous, let me know if it's gotten better or worse. Anyway. Anyway, so this is actually a retooling of an old video I did a little while ago that was called Faith in Monsters. And more or less, what that story was basically Ladybug being forced to team up with a bunch of killers and supervillains. And in here, I've decided to bring that story back as like a, in here I decided to bring the story back as like a fun, a fun redo of the of the story, and kind of like rework it, because that was I think that was about roughly a year ago when I did when I did Faith in Monsters before. But I was kind of thinking about it, and I was like, you know what, it'd be kind of cool. Like it'd be kind of cool to revisit that. So here we are, and with a different protagonist. So the story begins with not with Hawkmoth, but instead we start off in a museum with a bunch of people bringing in like this artifact they found in the ancient ruins of an unknown city, and it's this like old book, and apparently this is the old book that like inspired the Necronomicon from H.P. Lovecraft stories. However, it turns out that there was a cult that was monitoring the museum's findings and took the book and have used it to unleash an eldritch horror known as Yazlagoth. So Yazlagoth is known as the Great Corruptor. He's this huge, like, abominable god creature, and he's more or less twisting and corrupting people. The most innocent people are like mutated by his touch. Like, no light, he's the devourer of light. He is the, he's kind of like, if you want to equate him to anything, how I kind of imagine Yazlagoth is kind of like Eclipso from DC Comics, where he just infects people and just like turns them into their worst selves. That's how I kind of imagine when I created Yazlagoth was a creation of mine. So very much like a Cthulhu version of Eclipso. So anyway, so of course the miraculous heroes are on the scene, even though they have no idea. It's not like a villain Hawkmoth created. So they're like, holy shit, what the hell is that? It's just this monster of eyes and tentacles and in just pure insanity. But Ladybug and the rest of miraculous heroes are, go in. Like, they go in to fight it. Unfortunately, since all of them are good, all of their hearts get corrupted. Except for one. It turns out when it tried to get to Chloe, yes, in this story, Chloe is Queen Bee. In this story, Chloe, when Yazlagoth tries to reach out to Chloe, Yazlagoth rejects her and, doesn't corrupt her. The same can't be said for the rest of the miraculous heroes, who all get twisted and corrupted by, and into these like monstrous, like demonic night versions of their original selves. However, the Kwami managed to get away from them. So now Chloe is the last miraculous hero that's still alive, and Paris is slowly falling to Yazlagoth. However, there is someone who does have darkness in his heart, because the reason why the Kwamis explain, because they all go to Chloe, and they're like, the reason why Yazlagoth didn't take you is probably because you've got some darkness in your heart. He can't. He can only corrupt the truly innocent. He can only the wicked are free from Yazlagoth's touch. But who can, every time someone wicked does battle, does meet the Yazlagoth, they're just like, I'm all in. And Chloe's like, okay, fucking explain what's going on. So the Kwamis Tiki explains that ages ago, Yazlagoth was brought to Earth by an ancient cult, and Yazlagoth almost like succeeded in corrupting the planet. Even the miraculous holders at the time were corrupted by it. However, a group of villains who had their own desires to take over the planet united and defeated Yazlagoth and sent him back to his dimension, since they couldn't be corrupted or swayed by Yazlagoth. So Chloe's like, yeah, hold on. Are you saying that I have to find other people? And first off, Al, that I'm considered a bad guy, and B, you're expecting me to go out and find other people who are, evil, essentially? And she's like, well, there is one person I can go to, and that person is, of course, Hawkmoth. So, Hawkmoth actually finds Queen Bee, and he's like, it seems like we're the only two miraculous holders who are uncorrupted. And she's like, yeah, noticed. So what happens is that Chloe basically explains to Hawkmoth, we need to find others, because I don't think you and I are going to cut it to defeating Yazlagoth. And he's like, true, but I did think of, there is something. I have a collection of very rare items, and he holds up like this amulet that points the direction to the most evil people. And he's like, now, I could give you this and the two of us could stop Yazlagoth together. Or I could take your miraculous and take the miraculous that you're also keeping and then stop Yazlagoth and take his power for myself. And she's like, motherfucker. So they fight. Chloe gets away with the amulet and gets out of there with the Kwamis. So, in doing so, Chloe now has to go on like her own little adventure to find other villains. You basically find villains to help her defeat Yazlagoth. So that she goes on while Yazlagoth is basically corrupting all of Paris and expanding out into France and eventually the world. So the most evil, so Chloe has to find the most evil, and it takes her some places. So the first person that the amulet leads her to is it literally leads her first and foremost all the way to Roanapur, where she meets Revi. And Revi's like, alright, I guess I'm saving... like, Revi joins because Chloe says, look, I'm rich and I can give you a lot of money. And Revi's like, sold, I'm in. Plus, who says that, it's not every day, someone gets to say they killed a god. So Revi joins. Then they travel to Japan, where they meet Junko. And Junko is brought in because yeah, she has like the most devious mind on the planet, and she gets brought in because she's like, win or lose, it'll bring so much despair, it'll be so much fun. Then the trio travel to Mexico, where they get in contact with Black Hat. And Black Hat, while he doesn't want to go because he's like, Yazlagoth is something even that's older than me, and I'm afraid the last time I encountered Yazlagoth, it tried to eat me, so I'm just gonna chill here if that's all the same to you guys. And they're like, so who's gonna come with us? And he's like, Flug, go! And they're like, sir, I don't think I should go! Yes, sir. So Flug joins. And you may think, why not Dementia? We've already got Junko. I think it'd be a little redundant. So Flug joins. Then they go on to, they actually have to get the next guy, they go all the way to New Orleans and find the final resting place of Alistair's living body. And they're like, well, why did it bring us to a corpse? And that's when Junko suggests maybe we need to summon the thing that it's connected to, and they summon it. Alistair arrives, and Alistair is like, all right, I'm in. So Alistair joins the party, and then they go to Crystal Lake. They actually, yes, they go to Crystal Lake to recruit Jason Voorhees to this little group. They pick up also Mojo Jojo. They pick up Mojo. They pick up Shredder. They also pick up. They also grab Demona. Yeah, they grab Demona, and they also grab. They also snatch up. Who was the last one I had in mind? Oh yeah, Goldar. So yeah, Goldar. Oh yeah. So there's your team of supervillains, and all of them Chloe now has to deal with, not like being a leader, and also kind of wrestling with the kind of evil that's inside of her. Like, she's kind of wrestling with the fact that, am I really evil? Like, am I as evil as these guys out here? So so the reason how they also get Jason is that Chloe literally, I forgot to mention that when I was talking about recruiting Jason, is that Chloe takes Jason, Pamela's head, and keeps it locked away, so Jason has to obey her. And she's like, so that kind of adds to the whole wrestling with being evil thing that's kind of going on in her head. So the team return to Paris, now locked and loaded, and it's on, because they have to fight their way through just an insurmountable force of evil, and also the miraculous heroes that were corrupted. We even have to go through Hawkmoth, who also is like kind of like, he throws himself to, he's like, I may not be corrupted by your evil, but I serve you, my lord, even though he just wants Yazlagov's power for himself. So from there, eventually, the team does manage to beat back Yazlagov and use the book to transfer him back into his own dimension. And once that's done, Chloe is shown thanks by Marinette and the others, whereas everyone else, like the villains, all make their they're all like, well, that's my cue to skidoo, and they all leave. They all just kind of escape, while Chloe kind of wrestles with the fact that, am I really that am I as evil as them? Like, am I evil as them? And she's like, and Marinette's like, no, you may have darkness in your heart, but there's a light in there that controls it. And Ladybug then goes on, like, honestly, it might be good that we might have a member of this team who does have a little bit of evil, kind of an evil side to them. It kind of gives us an edge against our enemies. So maybe being just a little bit bad might do us some good. So there you go. So there you go, guys. That is pretty much well, it used to be Ladybug Faith in Monsters. Now it's Queen Bee Faith in Monsters. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this story? It actually, when I was retooling the idea, I was like, yeah, it would make a lot more sense in the context for Chloe to be the main protagonist of the story. And plus, Chloe being the leader of a bunch of egotistical supervillains, that would lead to so much lulls. So I thought that would be a lot of fun. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of it? Comment below, let me know. Once again, if you haven't already, hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon for exclusive content. Got some new videos on there as of this recording. And yeah, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.